We got the hotline to the right time.
It's 7:45.
A Monday morning edition of Your Morning Where Nevada comes to talk hot off of a big event yesterday. We are blessed to be joined with Tony Schiavone, who has made the long journey from wrestling fan to wrestling commentator to back to local radio and then to Starbucks and back to national TV. Tony, thanks for joining us. Talk a little about that transition, because I know it had to have been crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy time in my life. Of course, it's well documented that WCW was sold and thus went out of business in March of 2001. It was very apparent at that time, and I did call the WWE and see if there was any interest. But it was very apparent there was no interest in me, so I decided at that time that I was going to try just to recreate myself and go a different direction. I was very fortunate that I got employed by WSB Radio in Atlanta, which actually happened the same day that WCW closed. So I landed on my feet immediately. And WSB, being not only the biggest radio station in Georgia, but one of the biggest radio stations in the East Coast, afforded me the fact that I was able to work with the Braves, work with the Georgia Bulldogs. I learned how to do the web, how to format the website, and I learned a lot of things with them. And that led to me working with the Braves, working with the radio network, and then they hired me to do their play-by-play of their AAA team, and I started working with the Georgia Bulldogs. I was a producer of their basketball and football radio networks. I lost my job at WSB in 2015, at the end of 2015, but I still had the Bulldogs, still had the Braves. So that's when Starbucks came aboard, because they had health insurance. And so I worked for Starbucks for 18 months, and that's about the time Conrad Thompson came into my life. Started doing the podcast with him, which kind of resurrected the old career, and well, here I am today. So that's kind of the capsule of what I did and my choices I made during that time off, during those 18 years.
Do you think that working with Conrad made a difference in getting you back into national television?
Yeah, I think so, because Conrad had an idea that we would do a quote-unquote control center, social media only, about an event coming. I think it was a WWE event, or it may have been something else. We did a control center, and I put on the old JCP jacket and did an old control center. Tony Khan saw this and really liked it, and then Conrad and I were doing the podcast again, and this is pretty well documented on my graphic novel. But Cody Bruce Pritchard contacted me about working with the WWE, and I turned around and called Conrad. I said, "You're not going to believe this, but the WWE," and Bruce reached out to me. Conrad turned around and called Cody immediately, and Cody sent me a text and said, "Hey, I don't want you to work for the WWE." I said, "Well," this is before, of course, they even started doing Dynamite. And I said, "Well, you guys never offered me anything, and I've never really gone out and knocked on your door to look for a job, because I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing." And he said, "Let me hook you up with Tony Khan." And Tony and I talked on the phone. I went to Jacksonville, and I realized that I really wanted to work for him. So it really kind of started with Conrad and the podcast, and also Conrad kind of going between me and AEW.
Well, and I got to say, there's one thing that Tony Schiavone, who is a pro wrestling commentator of my youth. Of course, you're 64. I'm going to be 67 here soon. But what is it like working between another legendary Hall of Famer, Jim Ross, and between who I think one of the best play-by-play guys today, Excalibur?
Well, Excalibur actually is one of the best play-by-play guys ever, not only today, but ever. I feel great, and I think about this a lot when we do TV. I feel that I'm working with the two best broadcasters I've ever worked with. And I also do some work with Taz, which I love. Taz makes me laugh, entertains me. He's a great analyst. But working with JR and working with Excalibur, there's no question that they are the two best I've ever worked with. and being able to work with these two best ones is just really makes it rewarding for me on a personal level and a professional level. And it makes me really excited about being able to do the show. I really look forward to every Wednesday doing the show.
How does it feel to be in what I would call new school, old school? Because it's got a lot of the elements of what wrestling used to be, but a lot of the new stuff.
Yeah, that's something that we discuss a lot. Wrestling has changed a great deal over the years. A lot of the stuff still remains the same, but there's a lot of really crazy things that they do, like going through tables and using chairs. We had Anarchy in the Arena match, and we've had our Stadium Stampede matches. And if you go back and you take a look at some of the great things that were done in the past, I've often said that the style that was the old ECW, hardcore, has really stood the test of time, combined with, the old stuff that we remember from Jim Crockett Promotions, traditional wrestling matches. Those kind of mixed together is what AEW is all about. And of course, a lot of that has to do with independent wrestling too, because these wrestlers would go to these independent shows and they would try to do these things that would make fans come back, remember, because they didn't have TV to bring you to the arena. They had to bring you back by doing something spectacular that night. So I think the combination of old school ECW when it was in its heyday, independent wrestling, is what you see today. And I really like it. I really, really do. I really, really get into it. And I hope it is, but I think I do. I think it's pretty apparent that when I do a show that I'm really, really enjoying what I'm doing.
Tony Schiavone, All Elite Wrestling. You can see him on Monday nights on YouTube on AEW All Elite Wrestling's Dark Elevation. You can see him Wednesday nights with Jim Ross and Excalibur on Dynamite. And hopefully Adam Cole is not going to hurt you for your relationship with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
I'm not worried about Adam Cole, because one thing that I can do, I know I'm as every bit good at Halo as he is. So if he ever wants to challenge me in Halo, he's got it.
All righty, 7:53 Monday morning with Tony Schiavone here, where Nevada comes to talk.